So my name is Rick Casalge. I'm from exercisesforinjuries.com. What I'm going to go through is BHPWS, and I'll explain what that is. It is bilateral hip pain with sleep. So this question came in. It was posted on a group that I'm a part of on Facebook, and this is what was asked. The lady um, said that when she goes to bed, she's fine, but as she sleeps, her hips start hurting. She has pain in her hips, and the hip pain is on both sides. So she was wondering what she can do. And I'm going to explain that the different things that you can do if you have hip pain, if you have bilateral, so hip pain on both sides, when you sleep. And this is super common. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go through the first one. So the first one is flex. The first thing that's going to help you is flex. And what flex stands for is flexibility. So if you do some flexibility work prior to going to bed, this is going to help you out a lot when it comes to your bilateral hip pain. Now, what I mean by flexibility isn't just necessarily stretching. Now, stretching is one of the modalities and one of the components of helping and improving flexibility. But what we also want to do is work on, stretching out that muscle. We also want to work on mobility or that movement in that joint. So the hip joint, pelvis, low back, knee area. We also want to look at loosening up the tension within the muscles around the hip, pelvis, back, knee area. And also we want to address any trigger points that we have in those areas as well. And it's great if we can utilize some different types of stretching techniques as well, because that will help out a lot more. Also, I mean, if you're looking for a quick resource that really is going to help that area, and that, it takes like 5 or 10 minutes for you to do, prior to going to bed, it's a program that I've written that's been out for like 4 years. It's helped thousands of people, and that's unlock your hip flexors. So I'll post a link down below on more details on this, but it's something that's really helped like thousands of people around the world loosen up their hips and help their movement and mobility in their hips. So the first thing prior to bed, work on your flexibility, not necessarily just static stretching, but also working on mobility, working on addressing tight muscles, and also working on addressing trigger points. Okay, so we kind of talk about number one. Number two is it really relates to sleep. And I kind of broke it down. What it means is we want sleep to be recovery and not irritation. And what I mean by that is when you sleep, that's the time for your body to recover, get rested, and get ready for the next day. Now, if you're sleeping and you're making things worse and irritating things, that isn't going to help the problem. So if you might be doing the flexibility prior to bed, then you're going into bed and then you're irritating things and you're not helping your hip pain. So what we need to do is make sure that where you're sleeping is actually helping with your rest and recovery and not irritating things and making things worse and canceling out all the good things that you're doing for your hip pain. Now, what I suggest, one thing I would suggest and is looking at what you're sleeping on. So looking at your mattress when it comes to the firmness of your mattress. Now, I know with myself, if I'm away for work and if the mattress is too firm, what it'll do is it will irritate my hip. So what I will do is I will kind of use a combination of pillows and blankets to kind of bolster up my low back and my hip area. So what I can do, and it works better with pillows, but what I will do is I'll put a pillow. So let's say I'm lying on my side, I'm sleeping on my side. So what I'll do is I'll put a pillow here and I'll put like a blanket here. So it's taken that mattress from a firm mattress and made it a little bit softer so there's less pressure happening in my hip. Now I bolstered up my low back area, and that's because when I'm lying down, I kind of arch through here. If I get pushed up, then I'm in better alignment. I have more of my weight on that pillow, and then I have the blanket on my hip in order to make things a little bit softer. And I know the common thinking when it comes to back pain was firmer mat. Like if you have back pain, firmer mattress, and that helps you with back pain. But what will happen is if the mattress is too firm, you'll end up irritating your hips. So you solve one problem, but you end up causing another problem. And I don't believe, and the research really doesn't support that fact of placing a piece of plywood between your box spring and mattress, or utilizing a very, very firm mattress. If you know of a little bit of a contraption that will bolster up your side or low back and decrease the stress on your hip, please do let me know. I haven't been able to come across one. I end up doing this combination pillow and blanket, and that seems to work well for me. And at home, we've also put like a medium firmness memory foam mattress cover. Okay, now moving on to number 3. This is ball or gun. Now, this relates to what I kind of covered in point 1, which is addressing muscle tension, addressing trigger points. Now, something that I've been using a lot of late is like a muscle gun, and I didn't bring it. It's at home, and I'll have to demonstrate it on another Facebook Live. And but you've probably seen it if you're scrolling on Facebook and you see this little gun thing, and the people's muscles are all going all wavy. That has been great in order to loosen up the muscles and address trigger points. Now, if you don't have one, the things that you can use, like a massage stick, is great, and also a ball works really well. Now, what to do with these two things in order to loosen up your hip? So if you want that resource, just ask down below, and my team will post it up. Okay, so we've gone through number 3, and then going to the 4th one. A lot of times this bilateral hip pain, especially when you sleep, it really does sound like hip bursitis. And so what we need to do is, looking at the things that I kind of talked about, we need to work on flexibility prior to going to bed, and not just necessarily only flexibility. While we're in bed, we need to make sure that it's an environment that helps us rest and recover and not irritate things. Also, prior to going to bed, what works really good is the self massage, is the muscle gun in order to address muscle tension and trigger points. And then lastly, when it comes to the hip bursitis, this is where the strengthening comes in. And since I had so many clients that had hip bursitis and were looking for a program to help them with hip bursitis, I put one together, and my team will put the resource down below. But the key things to remember is you need to do the flexibility before bed. You need to make it an environment where you recover from, and you need to work on the self-massage. And then when that's addressed, then you can start working on the strength side of things. And the strength side of things will be strengthening your hips in 3 dimensions. So in all directions. Also, you need to strengthen your core in all directions, and you need to work on the stability of your hip in all directions. And that kind of summarizes the program, the hip bursitis program, but that's what you need to do. And what a lot of people will suggest, a lot of other experts will say, hey, just strengthen. Well, what happens is you strengthen, and then if you don't do the flexibility, you're strengthening, things tighten up more. You go to bed, you irritated more when you're sleeping because the mattress isn't very good. Your muscles are all tight. It just ends up being this vicious cycle that ends up happening. And then you're like, I'm strengthening. It feels good for a little bit. And then I got poor flexibility. I'm irritating it when I'm asleep, and I'm all tight. My muscles are all tight, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. So remember that. So those are the 4 points that I was going to cover and go through. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining me on this. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Even my team's monitoring this 24/7. So even if you comment in like an hour or two, they'll get back to you. So this is it. This is Rick Caselli signing off.